Now that I've sanded inside the holes for your hands, and I also have cleaned up the surface along here, I can go over to the router table and we'll put our round over on them. Okay, I got the round overs put on here, and we're going to have a little bit of handwork to clean these up, a little sanding. I went ahead and I sanded all these parts, sanded the round over on these, and I had to do a lot of hand sanding inside the handhold here and along this top curved edge. So now that we've got that completed, I'm going to remove this panel from the clamps, and then I'll send that through the thicknesser and clean that up, and we can start assembling. I now have this panel sanded fairly smooth. I went down to 220 with it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill these knot holes with some epoxy. There's the duct tape put over the holes that I need to fill. Okay. So I'll turn this over now and I'll mix up the epoxy. Well, I decided that since I'm waiting for this epoxy to set up, I'm going to start on a second serving tray. And for the second serving tray, I have a very special board in mind. This is the board I want to use. It's very rare, not so much rare in the species that it is. It's actually just a sugar maple, but it's rare in that it's been tapped. And you can see these holes. This is where the guy doing the sugaring would have drilled to put the taps, either for his lines or to hang his buckets on. I'm not sure exactly how old this board is, but it certainly could be old enough that they once pounded a metal spout in here to hang a bucket on. And you can see what it does is it actually kills part of the tree, and in that area it starts turning to kind of like a heartwood, and it discolors the board in those streaks. What makes it rare is that most sawyers do not want to touch a board that's been, or a tree I should say, that's been tapped, because of the possibility that there may be taps left in there. They may find old barbed wire or electric fence wrapped in there, and once they hit that metal, it's a good guarantee that it's going to ruin their blade. So most of this wood ends up as firewood, but in this case we were lucky enough to find a board that had been sawn, so let's make a tray out of it. Well, the epoxy is set up. It's good and hard, and I took the tape off the face side of the board. So now what I got to do is take this board and I'll sand that down. I sanded these down, took them down to 220. I'm going to give the bottom here a coat of oil. I've already oiled the sides. The reason I'm doing that before I assemble this is because I need this, the bottom of this tray has to be floating. It can't be glued in those dados. If it was glued in the dados, the seasonal expansion and contraction with moisture would cause this to split. Gluing up 45-degree angles can be kind of tricky. What I'm going to do is I've taken this block of hardwood, it's square, and I've wrapped it in masking tape. Now what the masking tape is going to do is it's going to protect me from having this block get glued in here. Well, here's everything all glued up. So while this is setting up, I'm going to turn my attention to the tapped maple tray. Okay, I got the parts for the tapped maple tray all cut out, sanded, and one coat of oil on them. Well, that came out of the clamps pretty good. All the joints look clean. There's just some minor touch-up that needs to be done. A little bit of work with a chisel here and there. Scrape some glue out of the joints. Here we got quite a bit of glue here. No big deal though, since it was already oiled. This glue is going to come off pretty easy. My corner blocks didn't stick, they came out really well. I went ahead and cleaned out all the little glue that squeezed out on my corners. I also had a little bit on the bottom we cleaned up. You can see there. What I'm going to do now is put another coat of oil on this. That'll be the second coat overall. Well, I've got the tap maple tray all clamped up. It's a good point to call tonight, I think. I'm going to go get some supper. Tomorrow we'll come out here and take this off the clamps and we'll finish these joints up. What I just did was I just cut a series of little notches, little saw nerfs on each of the four corners of the trays. And now I'll take and I'll glue a piece of wood in there on the long grain, and that's going to strengthen my miters or my corners up considerably. Here you can see the pieces of wood put in the saw nerfs. I got those glued, waiting for those to dry. And there we are. Two beautiful trays, in my opinion, but of course I might be a little biased, but you notice the maple tray a little bit different than the walnut tray. I made the side a little deeper. I think I like it better. A little bit deeper. I think it makes it look a little more substantial. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see some more, please subscribe. We have more videos coming along that I think people will find interesting. And once again, thanks, and I'll see you next time.